a little Q&A, and I'll answer all your questions to the best of my abilities. And go from there. I got to tell you, I didn't know that dynamic DCA could be so. I mean, when you put those numbers in, you're like, wow, 100,000 for just dollar cost averaging, and then 500,000. Yeah, who knows what'll do that? Maybe everything goes to zero. I don't know. Mr. Popo. Can't believe I'm here for the start. I just put a pizza in the oven. Yes, that does sound good. Your 2020 prediction is still there as a big joke. No, I don't. I've deleted one video on my channel. And that was where I was talking about loans with Celsius, because I didn't want, first of all, I just thought it was a ridiculous premise. And of course, I hate Celsius. Now, I've left videos up for when I've interviewed Alex Mashinsky. I won't take those down because I want everybody to take a look at that and just see how people can lie right to your face. And people will fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. And I did. And I won't delete that video. Multiple videos, as a matter of fact. So I'll also leave up my predictions, because the thing is, you have to understand is that people will make mistakes. I know we put up these experts and analysts as like the ones that are like the soothsayers and can just give us the promised land, but they're all full of it. They can only get so much right. You can only get so many things correct, and you're going to screw up. So just remember that. You're smarter than most of the people out there. And it's your money and it's your investment, and you know what's best for you and your family. Not the other people out there that say, do this and do that. And you just take, like, even this video, you take what you need from it and you discard the rest. Yes. Yeah. Al's World, it is a good day to be in the market. It's a good day to be right here. And of course, who gets to actually profit from that? It's the people that stuck around. It's the people that are like, look, and we've been saying this for 2 years. This is the time to accumulate. I know it sucks, but this is where all the millionaires are made. And like, you say that and you say that, and people, and you guys hear it, but I know there's always that little voice, or that there's the angel here and the devil here, however you want to say it. And those are always in constant talk with you, going, you should get out, or you should put in, or you know what, this isn't going to work. This is taking too long. Is this going to zero? Look, the government's against it. Look, Gary Gensler's out there. And before you know it, you're like, I'm out of here. And again, I tell you, it's like everything else. You just show up with the right uniform and you put in your best work, and things pay off. Sean says, if you think Solana is golden after one pump, look, Solana works, Cardano works, Near Protocol works. A lot of these projects, they work. The question is, which ones are going to get picked up? Because remember, in the market itself, like, Warren Buffett talks about, in the beginning, it's all just a voting machine. But in the end, as things calm down and the dust settles, it becomes a weighing machine. Most of the I can't say that. Some of the projects out there are great and they do great things. The thing is, will they get adopted? And will people start using them instead of just speculating? It's just like the great restaurant on the street that you go to that no one seems to frequent, but yet you found a hidden gem and it's awesome and you love the food and the staff is fantastic and it's reasonably priced. And then you go there on the next Saturday and it's closed down. What the hell happened? It's because for whatever reason, people didn't find it. But I will tell you this, people are lining up around the block for McDonald's. Why? The food's garbage. Well, it tastes good, but it's not good for you. And it's the same thing with businesses and crypto and digital assets and everything else. You can have a fantastic product. If people don't find it and use it, it's not going to make it. And that's why, like, I know people will say, well, my project is this, my project is that. Trust me, a lot of products out there are doing pretty good things. A lot of them are scams too. It's just about adoption. Who's going to make it? I mean, I don't know if you've been around, I'm old. So like in the days of the internet, we had a ton of different search engines, a ton of them. You go to Ask Jeeves, Dogpile, and stuff like that. I know I just said something, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. But at some point, Google's like, well, we'll just do this little tweak in how we search and query data. Now we use that's all it is. It's Google, maybe one more other one. I don't know what it is. I've only used Google. So DAO, people foolishly buying the pump every time. 30K is going to sell off again. Yeah, why wouldn't people who are interested in shorting not do the same? And that's just it. Like if we take a look at the price today, $29.8. I think not the problem, but people, and I even said this on Twitter. I said, hey, congratulations, people taking profit. I talk about this every time. Probably got some sell orders at 30,000. Maybe people short it. Maybe people want to keep it down. I don't know. That's what we have. Oh, Lord. And then one thing I will say is that these prices look pretty good, right? I mean, 7-day, 24 hours, Sunday people taking profits. But look at this. If I switch this to Bitcoin, look how many are bleeding against Bitcoin. Last 24 hours, Ethereum is up 0.1%. Hey, Tether, BNB, USDC, Lido, well, it's the same thing, staked Ether. Toncoin is up, but look at all this red. And it's not like you got 1.6%, you got 0.2, except for Chainlink. Man, I'm glad I DCA'd that. I do like that project. Working with Swift and everybody else, digitizing real-world assets or RWAs, sending them cross-border. Chainlink's it. But look at all this red. It's a lot of red. And it's not it's like a lot of red. Eesh, Bitcoin SV. Although Bitcoin SV was up 30%. Why? Someone's got to explain that to me. Synthetics up 2.6, but we still see a lot of red. Again, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I think Bitcoin has its run, but like we just took a look at, the gains are in some alts. Some alts. It's just finding that right one, and who knows what that will be. So, good point. Good point, DAO. Cano says smashing likes. Thanks, I appreciate it. Irrational, Meme, Shaolin, Money Mom, DCA Guru, Suspectable, that's a suspect. That's sus. As the kids say, no. Newsflash, you're not cashing out at that one day where it tops up. Nope, you are not. And that's why I like that tool, DCA in, DCA out, because you'll never hit the top. But you know what's great about dollar cost averaging every day? You will time the bottom. I guarantee it. That's the one guarantee I can say. Actually, no, I can't 100% guarantee, because if your DCA is at 5 p.m. and then, I don't know, Solana's it bottoms out at $5, right? But then that was at 9 a.m. and now it's $5.25 or $6. You're not going to hit the absolute bottom, but pretty damn close. The tops, though, it's very tough. And of course, everybody runs around and says, I hit the top, I hit the top. Sure you did, pal. Not only that, they probably did they sell their entire bag at this one point? Or was it they sold here, then here, then here, then here, and then they nailed the top that one time? Great, congratulations, but be honest. Bunch of liars. Oh, Red Panda's got a great point. Rob, DCA is difficult to do 3, 4, or 5 years because you're never sure which also, exactly. For Bitcoin, it's always a good strategy, way in and out anytime. Yeah, and that's just it. That's why 75% of my portfolio is into Bitcoin. And I know when I was in the space in 2017, then in 2018, I would hear the same thing from people in 2019. I'm like, why are you into Bitcoin? I get it. It's like the oldest, battle-tested, and it has the most utility for right now. I know people will disagree with me, but it's true. And I was like, but there's so many gains in the alts. And then I figured it out. When the alts came in 2021, I was like, shoot, I thought EOS was going to be awesome. What happened to Tezos? And BitConnect didn't make it? Oh, man. So, yeah, you're going to take a big hit. But that's just it. We just took a look at, for every ADA Cardano out there, every BNB, every Chainlink, there's going to be those ones. There's always the Lunas. There's always the Decreds. There's always the Salt. There's always the Dash. Sorry, Dash, it's true. They don't hit their all-time highs, but it doesn't matter, because if those, like we just took a look at, if you lose a couple grand in those because you're dollar cost averaging, but yet you make it up in like a Cardano, like the ones I just talked about, the Cardanos, this chain link, stuff like that, and you make $1 million, $2 million. That's what angel investors do, essentially. You're an angel investor. You're spraying and praying. Hasib, buy Doge now. Yes. Someone was asking me about that. They go, why is Dogecoin ever going to go back to its all-time high? Is it ever going to pump? I was like, yeah, as soon as Elon Musk comes out and says that Dogecoin is the official currency of Twitter, that's when it'll really pump. But I'm scared because I think he might not, even though he has, if you look at Elon Musk's profile, he's got two logos in there. One is X and the one is Dogecoin. And I just wonder if he's ever going to do it, or he's going to say, we figured it's not that great. We're going to use, XYZ, or we're not going to use anything, or we're going to use a stable coin, as Des. And that would be it. And then, of course, I think, you'd see a little bit of a bump downwards for Doge. Where's the nuclear engine we need? That's confusing. It's not, Mullet, if you can do TA, you can do that. And Lord knows I'm not smart, and I figured it out. All right. Here we go. If I give you an example, I made some decent profits on altcoin. I'm not sure it's going to perform as well as it did, so I invested the amount once invested in the alt plus profit. Yeah, and this is the thing. There's so many different ways to do it. And that's why, like right now in the bear market, this is the time to get your strategy, because it's when you're the most sane. When everything's going off and you start hearing about these, next, it's whatever you're into. Like, remember in 2021 when Bitcoin was being adopted and everybody was into it, right? Michael Saylor gets into it. El Salvador becomes the legal tender. Then all of a sudden there's this guy named Elon Musk talking about it. Oh my God, Tesla just uses it to buy their vehicles. This will never stop. BNY Mellon's into it, the oldest bank in the US. Holy smokes. And then you start to realize, okay, well, it's going up, but it's slowing down. But in April, it hits 63,000, a little bit drop off. That's okay. Pullbacks are healthy. You're going to hear that constantly. And then it goes up in November. You're like, see, told you now, 69,000. I told you. 100K, 250K, 500K. Here we come to the moon. And then it keeps dropping. It keeps dropping. It keeps dropping. Shoot, what was my plan again? It'll come back. Never comes back. It comes back in 4 years. So you must have a plan now. And I just gave you a plan to take a look at and maybe potentially implement. Trust me, I've been there. Been there twice. Going into my third bull run. So we'll see. What gaming products do you like? I've had some pretty smart people on the show. And I've had Kaggy. I've had Classy Games. I've had Crypto Stash and Johnny Hustle from Crypto Banter. And the majority of them said the same thing. It was Gala. It was Upper Echelon. It was Immutable X and Big Time. And if you take a look at those Web3 gaming projects, it's true. So what I recommend is, if you haven't done it already, there's a link in the description, danteachescrypto.com. And on my, I'm going to show you. Whoops. You can look for them here on YouTube, but I put them all together for you. And over on my website, all the videos, they're not hosted on YouTube. So they're ad free. And of course, people go, I don't pay ads because I got this blocker. But okay, fine. But if you don't have a blocker and you'd like to go to Dan Teaches Crypto, it's 100% free. I don't spam you. I just tell you when I upgrade or update some things. Let me log in. 12345 password. And then you go to, and there's all different types. Basic, safety, investing, reviews. How do I metaverse? Gaming. I do have to put Classy's video up here. This is Yatsu. He's the founder of Animoca Brands. He explains what the heck is Web3 and why it's so important. There's Hustle. Here's his top plays, Q's and A's. Gala, Echelon, Dubs. That's right. Needle X and Vulcan Forged. Here's Stashes. Here's Kagi. And this is where classy games will go. I just got to get it up there. But yeah, just do that. Good question. And what I like about that is uncorrelated to the 4-year cycles. I mean, right now we see a big dip, but, well, we saw a big dip with everything going down. But as time goes on, you actually need those tokens to play those games. You know, do we need, I don't know. Do we right now, do we need Chainlink? Not really. The banks need Chainlink more than we need Chainlink. They're just trying to implement it. Do we need, I don't know. Do we need Solana? It's pretty cheap. And if you're looking for NFTs, I suppose so. Do we need Ethereum? Yeah, you need Ethereum because you got to pay with those ridiculous gas fees. Do you need Bitcoin? Well, if you want to do a long-term hedge against inflation, yes, you do. Do you need Decred? Do you need Salt? Do you need Dash? No. What do they do? I will never DC out of my tomato coin. It's a pretty good play. Once we nail that partnership with Olive Garden, to the moon. Afonsis, XRP or Solana? You know, after those wins, I got to tell you, XRP's price is pretty depressed for what it is. I don't dollar cost average XRP because I still have a bunch of them. And I sold some when the lawsuit was announced, but I couldn't sell as much as I thought I should because I thought it'd be a quicker thing. And then I figured out, oh, it's going to take a long time. Now here we are. Maybe the next bull run, it'll get its proper due. And it should. I mean, it's used globally except for America. A lot of banks are implementing it, so we'll see. And of course, Nostros, Vostros, and the way that they move funds around, I can see that. Solana bull. Hello, everybody. Blue blowfish. Thoughts on possibility of a big pullback? Similar to do. There's two ways of thinking about this. One is there's a recession coming right around the corner. I don't think anything's safe when we hit a recession. I think at that point, traditional equities go down. I think, of course, the housing market's already kind of in the tank. No one's really buying, even though we are actually seeing a little bit more of an uptick of people actually making houses. And of course, risky assets like Bitcoin and digital assets will probably go down in the recession, which I think is weird because it's supposed to be a hedge against inflation, but people just don't get it yet. So they're going to probably pile into bonds, T-bills, treasuries, and probably precious metals. It's usually how it works before a recession gets going. So if that actually gets going, you're going to see a massive pullback. The question is, when is that recession? We took a look at it. Indicators are pointing to Q1. If you take a look at the inversion of the yield curve, and you can find that again on Ben's channel or on Ben's website. And we took a look at it. And we also, a video a couple days ago about recession, if you take a look from the time that we pause the actual Fed raising of rates to when we get a recession, it's roughly about a year or so. And that just happened in July or August, really September if you think about it. So if we get one, I think it's either going to be sometime next year between Q1, I thought it was, but looking at the data, it could be Q3. And in that case, you're going to see a major pullback. But it doesn't, watch the video because it doesn't matter. We'll have a Bitcoin halving in May of 2024. Recessions usually last 10 months. However, the market recovers first before the economy. So you're looking at around next in 2025, I don't know, March, April. And that's when the bull run happens. So yeah, that's my best answer with data points. Whew. About to hop on the bike. The most fun exercise. I wish I could. Got a herniated disc. This is what happens when you get old. Now I'm taking a bunch of pills, so I can't do much. And of course, I can't sit, so this is why I'm always standing. Rob is old. Rob's real old. Ben F says, Rob, what does the S&P look like when Bitcoin is in its bear year? Similar each cycle or completely unpredictable? Great question. The thing you have to take a look at is how correlated is it? And we can see that actually there is some uncorrelation actually happening, which, check this out. So let's go to charts, macro. Oh, this might be, oops. This will be in crypto. Correlation coefficients. So if we have a positive correlation, they do the exact same thing, right? If we have 0, there's no real correlation. And if we have in the negative, they do the opposite. So in like a -1, if Bitcoin goes down, the market would go up. So it's the exact opposite. And in this case, the market could go down or up and Bitcoin could do nothing. Or Bitcoin could go up and the market could do nothing. This doesn't matter. And then of course, this one is where it's proficiently heavily correlated. And we can see that as times, and especially right now, if we, let's go here. We've had a big drop off since September in the correlations. Now, it'll oscillate back and forth, but I think as time goes on, we'll see it become a little bit more uncorrelated. And we can just see, and you can take a look at the correlations between, let's see, heat, green, cryptos and stocks. And how it actually correlates to the big stocks. And actually, this is the one I'm looking for, S&P 500. So Bitcoin over the last 60 days is actually negatively correlated. If we take a look at the Pearson correlation coefficient, so negative 0.61, negative points. So it's actually doing the opposite. So I'll take that. So the answer to your question, it just depends on the narrative and when people actually figure it out. Will this be uncorrelated? Well, if we get the narrative out there, and I got to tell you, the best cheerleader right now is Larry Fink. He went on all the big shows and talked about how great Bitcoin was and how there's huge demand for it and how it's digital gold. So we'll see if that message resonates or if you're going to be like Jim Cramer and go on like a month ago and saying, hey, Bitcoin's going down, you should get out. And of course, since he said that's pumped like 13%. So good job, Cramer. Jim Cramer. That guy. Just do the opposite. Let's see. Hey, from Brussels. See, Norman Durrell. I used to be 90% ETH. I made a little bit with Ape before losing. Now I'm 95% Bitcoin. I think as you start to make more money, and this is really what it comes down to. Like when you make more money, you get more cautious. And you get into a little bit less risky plays, because that's why people are in bonds and T-bills, because they're like, why the hell would I go into the stock market right now when we think there's a recession coming? I'll just go into the bond market, which is a $50 trillion market. I don't know if anybody knew that. $50 trillion in bonds in America. Globally, it's like $121 trillion. So like, why would I do that? I get 5% return as opposed to the S&P 500 is like 7 to 9%. I'll just make some free money. It's a smart move, especially if you have like, feel like a Mark Cuban, you're a billionaire. Why don't you just do that? He's even said that's what he does. Gary says, are you DCing Riot? No, I've got stock in Mara, and that's just a very small position. I've got stock in Amazon and Mara and Tesla and some other different little things, but not much. It's there. It's like 5% of my portfolio. Mohammed says, why are you not DCing Theta this time? Because I got a bunch of Theta that I never sold. And it's the same thing with XRP. So like, I've got enough to stake it, and it's making me pretty good returns so far. I talked to Theta last week. I know what they're doing. I know their advancements they're trying to do. Looking pretty good. I think Theta is going to do very well, very, very well next run. Rob's not going to make it. Don't worry about me. I'll be just fine. But thank you. Cat with a K, I'll never hit the top. Neither will I. No one does it. Shrooms, what's up? And Mullet says it correctly. He's right. You don't need to hit the top or bottom. Catch 70%. Everybody's so damn stuck on this, like, we've got to hit this point, because if not, I'm a loser. I'm going to look. If you're between 50 and 70% of the top, congratulations. You're doing a great job. The question is, what are you going to do with that money? And that's really what it comes down to. Again, you can keep the money in a bank, but you know that the inflation is just going to keep going up. And especially once we hit that recession, you guys know that the money printers turn on, right? And they're going to print a boatload of money. And then when that happens, everything gets inflated away. So whatever you get into it, I can't give you financial advice, but I can tell you what I'm doing. Once I get money in the bank, it does sit there for a little bit of time, but I'm always looking for opportunities. And those opportunities can be in land or in real estate, or probably start doing what my wife does, which is do loans. And at some point I'll do a video on that, but pretty good business. All right. Green Mountain Tree says Pi cycle bottom is a great time to buy before parabola indicator, and Pi cycle top is a great time to dollar cost out. Yeah. So what he's talking about, let's see if I can bring this up over here. Pi cycle bottom tops are right here. If you don't, this is on a paid one. If you don't want to go to Ben's, even though he's got everything that you really need, you know how to look into bitcoin.com. That's free. Charts. And go down here, Pi cycle top. And what it is. And just so everybody knows, this isn't a good one. What is a good one? I just can't refresh it. Reset is a double click. I am double clicking. Let's use Ben's real quick. Come on. There we go. So Pi cycle top, it looks retrospectively. And if you take a look at it, it's where you have the 111-day moving average crosses over the 350-day moving average times 2. And it's been pretty straight so far as to predicting tops and some bottoms, right? So we can see here, like 2013 was a double top kind of play. You had a top here they thought it was where Bitcoin price $100, but in reality, it was a 10x, like $1,000. So not so great, but it did a really good job in 2017. Again, retrospectively looking back, it hit at 19,000. And then over here, pretty good. 11th of April, 2021, almost 60,000 for the price, and it said that's the top. And guess what? Damn close. I think the top was 67 or 69,000. I would have taken that. And in all honesty, on my site, in module 3, I missed Chewy. This is the indicators to make it simple for you. Cycle tops, Pi cycle, and UPL, time and wristbands, cycle bottoms. I do a video about it. But yeah, you can see that. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Top's looking pretty. Now bottoms, I mean, you can, but I like to use, let's see if Ben's got it here. MVRV, yeah, MVRVZ. This one's not as good as this one. Charts. Where did it go? There we go. MVRVZ score. I like colors. Makes things simple. Anyhow, so it's the market value, current price of Bitcoin, versus the realized value, which is, instead of taking the price of Bitcoin, you think the price of each Bitcoin when it's last moved. And for bottoms, it's really good because it goes in this area. You can see right here. Like, what was the price on, well, November 22nd was the lowest Z-score, negative 0.28. And I'm pretty sure that's when Bitcoin hit around 15,700, somewhere around there. But like, if you just accumulate in the green, right, then maybe sell off to when you start hitting the red, like above 6, you're doing pretty good. So that's what I like to look at. So it's a good point, Green Mountain. Oh. Hey, Rob, today elections. Hey, John Luis, in Argentina, what's happening if Carlos Enrique Meyer becomes president as a pro-Bitcoin? That guy's crazy. Like a fox. Smart guy. I don't know, but I think if you take a look at the Argentinian dollar, the fiat currency over there, isn't it getting massively devalued? I think if that happens and he goes in there, maybe Argentina picks up Bitcoin as a legal tender. He's super big And the question I have, John Luis, is how is he polling? I think he's in the lead like massively, but I read that on like some pro Bitcoin site, so I don't give it much value. Go from there. Yeah, so I have an assistant who puts in together all my stuff for Twitter. Sometimes it goes out. Also, we stream also on X as well. Hey, grannies. But he did buy all the EOS. Me and him, I still have some EOS stuck in some wall or something like that. Any thoughts on Aptos? Didn't they have a shutdown or some kind of problem? Let's take a look. Even though it had a problem, I think it had a pretty good pump. Yeah, that's what it was. There was a 5-hour outage. This was Aptos. Let's see what happened. Aptos hit with a 5-hour outage on blockchain's first birthday. And that was October 19th. And seems like no one cares, because if we go over here, whoops, it's up 21% for the week. So whatever. That's what's going on. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I don't invest into it, so I don't really talk about it. Not to say that it's, fundamentally flawed. I just haven't looked at it. Jeffrey, my second bull run. Congratulations. It gets easier. Let's see. 100K. I'll take that too. Yeah. Galvao says, famous quote from Plan B, buy Bitcoin 6 months before the halving and sell it 18 months later and you'll be fine. There's a chart, and if you guys look it up, it's pretty accurate so far. Let's see. Oh, I do a search for that, and this is what comes up, my video. So I did a video. Let's go there. I don't know what I'm showing here. Oh, wow. This is it, I think. Yeah. So what he was saying, what Plan B was saying, was essentially this. He's like, yeah, if you, and this was the last one. Of course, retroactively, everything looks great, doesn't it? But 6 months before the halving, so that would give us into, I believe it's April, right? So wouldn't that be now, roughly? You buy 6 months before the halving, and you sell 18 months. So May 2020 was the. Wait a second. So 6. Yeah, that's right. Because that would put you into. So you would have bought Bitcoin November 2019. Let's take a look. I'm pretty sure it was a pretty good buy at that point, quite honestly. Oh, no. It was May 12th. It was May 12th, 2020. So let's just do November 1st. Why not? So yeah, roughly 6 months before the halving, this is the price of Bitcoin. Whoa, 9,300. Well, if we want to be accurate, January, February, March, April. No, that's right. $9,200. and you would dollar cost average like we just talked about. Maybe you would have dynamic DCA'd. Instead of putting $10 a day or $10 a week, maybe you put in $20 over here and 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, or 20, 20, 20, 15, 10, 10. Then down here, you're putting in $30 a day at 55, which is a pretty good deal, right? And then we get to the halving, which is May 2020, May 12th. Correct me in the comments. You're over here. So whatever you did, great, and then you just stop. And then 18 months later, so that would be, well, 1 year plus May 2021. But it's 18 months, right? So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. November 13th. Would have nailed it. Again, that's looking back retrospectively. Who knows if it's going to line up again, but it would have worked out pretty well. The question would be, what happened in 2013? I don't want to go through it. We're talking about Ben. Ben in the super cycles, elongated cycles, which I can, if you look at the chart, you can see why it would make sense for there would be an elongated cycle. And I got to tell you, I am questioning the fact of whether Ben would have been right if it wasn't for the fact that all the shenanigans that was going on with FTX, and they even admitted in court, and they were a pretty large exchange. Their goal was to suppress the price below 20,000 for a very long time. So I think to myself, I'm like, without that, the Voyagers, mostly the Celsius, 3 Arrows Capital, Luna, and everything that was going on there, there's a rumor that Citadel Financial was responsible for the Luna collapse. And the Luna collapse hit 3 Arrows Capital, and 3 Arrows Capital hit FTX. It was a chain reaction. If all that stuff didn't happen, who knows where we would have been? I always felt like last bull run was weird. It just didn't, a lot of things didn't add up for me. So who knows? That's just it. The data that you have, it doesn't matter if you have this data it's perfect, because at some point, some wrench can come in there, right? Like, here's a great example. Let's say someone drops a nuke somewhere, because we're always talking about these wars. Do you think that we won't see a major volatile action? I don't care how much money printing you're doing at that point. Wrenches come in. Wrenches get into the system and it screws everything up. So that's why I dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out, because I don't know. Hey, Rob, you going to jump in the pool on Bitcoin? Yeah, that's the plan. Big cannonball. I need a dash of salt. I need to get some food. Tina Tesla's got a good point. Recession in an election year. Because somebody, Crypto Ricardo would tell me this. Recessions in presidential election years. The data was that there's never been a recession. Let me see if I can find the chart. There's never been a recession the year before the presidential election. We have one coming up in the US, Super Tuesday, November of 2024. Let's see. See if this is it. Ah, crap. Yeah. Here. So it has happened, actually. I think the recession's in an election year. I remember in 1980, and it was Jimmy Carter versus President Reagan. Well, Ronald Reagan, who was just a, governor, I think, of California. And the whole slogan was, "It's the economy, stupid." So I remember in 1980, that's why he won. And then we had another, and Carter became a one-termer, I believe. And then, of course, so you had Reagan, Clinton, Bush. I think I'm missing somebody. Oh yeah, Bush. It was Bush Senior, and then Clinton, and then Bush, and then okay. And in 2008, this was Barack Obama, and there was a recession at that point. I don't know why that wasn't. That was George Bush Jr. W. And 12-16. So it does happen, but what's more interesting, and this could actually play out to what could actually be, is that the year after the elections is when they kind of let things fall apart, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So who knows? Cat with a K says, should I get this TANGEM wallet or the newer one coming out? Something the original one is easier to use. Depends on what you want to do. There's a link in the description. I do a deep dive on a TANGEM. I have the old one. Works out pretty well for me. The only difference between the old one and the new one is if you have to have mnemonic phrases, you can't stand just saying, well, my private key's on here, which is what it is. And you have to have that mnemonic phrase and you have to write it down, then you got to get the version 2.0. If you want the older style, it's cheaper. And you don't have to deal with that. You just got to know that because they send you 3 cards. It's 2 or 3 cards. I screwed up and I got the 2-pack. Get the 3-pack. Don't be cheap. It's like $46 to $53. It's something ridiculously small. And just know that if you lose that 3rd card, all your money's gone. All your crypto's gone. So just make sure that you keep the one that you're going to use around. Hide the other 2. Put them in different locations. And then if this one, something happens to this one, which I gotta tell you, I've had the same debit card from USAA for like 4 years and it still works. But it does happen, right? Someone steals it and off it goes. And of course your questions are like, well, what if someone steals it? Can they use it? They have the app. What if they just download the app? I answer that. So once you get the first one, that one gets gone. You use the second one, that one's gone. You get the 3rd one and you don't do anything. The first thing you do is order a new 3-pack. And that's what it is. The other one, if you're okay with mnemonic phrases, get the 2.0. And also you can import other wallets into TANGEM with the 2.0 version. So I'm just waiting for them to update the app. The app it's good, but it's much, much better. Steve says using a version table. Yes, and it's not working. So I'm using this inversion table behind me from my herniated disc, and it doesn't really work too well. I'm gonna have to go do something else. Yeah, I've already got the injection and stuff like that. It did it first, but then I'm stupid and I keep doing the same things, and I think that I keep aggravating it. Yeah, takes 9,000. Hey, Mountain Man. Mold's probably right. Larry Fink already bought all the Bitcoin he needs. Yeah, probably his buddies too. But that's not it. Like, that's the whole point of these. I always look at it like, why can't these super rich people just hire somebody to buy their Bitcoin for them and say, hey, custody this, I think it's going to be worth a lot of money. But no, I think people are just generally lazy, and they're just waiting for this ETF to go through, and they can say, well, I trust BlackRock, they're going to handle everything, and that's it. Maybe that's it. When you get so rich, you're just like, I don't want to do anything. Just make me money. Probably what it is. They're not like us, right? We're like, oh, we'll custody it. I'll write this mnemonic phrase down in 5 different places, put one in the freezer, one under my bed, one here and there, bury one in the backyard. Thanks. We're all going to make it. When profit? That's the thing. Like, I got to tell you, everybody, it's not hard to dollar cost average. It's not hard to buy the dips. That's easy for us. And dips of like 30%, that's a Tuesday. Dips of like 60, 70%, well, that sucks, but been there. Dips of 97, 8%, well, if you've been since 2022, that's what Cardano pretty much is doing. And a bunch of other different alts. Who cares? The hard part is selling. Because we buy. We hold for so long, it becomes second nature. You've got to, that's why I'm always talking about take some profits so you grease the wheels, muscle memory. And you're like, oh, that's how I do it. And And I remember I can do it instead of holding on forever and diamond handsing it. And then being one of those people like, oh, I had millions of dollars. And what happened? Didn't sell. But I got a bunch of Luna Classic. Troy says, it's a good question. When you take profits, where do you put it for safekeeping? Well, the first thing is, and you probably want to do this before the big bull run hits, which is whatever exchange you're using. And this is if you're going to put it into fiat. Whatever exchange you're using, you still have to do this. You get your limits increased, right? Because right now, if you sign up, this is what happened in my 2017 version. When you sign up for an exchange, they only let you do so much as far as like to transfer funds or to sell funds. Maybe it's 10,000, whatever it is. Or maybe it's 150,000. I don't know what you do, but at some point you have to talk to the exchange and send them an email like, I want my limits increased. Because if you do it when everything's going parabolic, it's too late. Like Coinbase is going to be overblown. It probably has problems like it always has. Maybe it doesn't. But if you do this early, you won't have this issue when you're trying to sell. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if you're going to do fiat and fiat to cash, that's one problem you're going to have with your bank. Because your bank is going to say, where the hell is all this money coming from? Are you a terrorist or are you a drug dealer? Or are you something else? Trust me, I know. That's what they asked me in the last bull run. That's a true story. So the next thing you got to think about is, maybe I just want to put it into stable coins. And the question is, what stable coin do I want to use? Does it want to be USDC? Do I want to use Tether? Want to use the one that's on Tron? Whatever it is. If you can do that, you don't have to deal with the banks. And your stablecoin can go right into your cold storage device. You don't have to worry about it. But then the thing that you really have to think about is this. Even though it's a stablecoin and it's attached to the dollar, what is the dollar doing? And how strong is it actually? And should I probably put this into other assets, whether that be, like we just talked about, into precious metals, into real estate, into your business, whatever else. Then you got to start to think about, how do I get these stable coins or this crypto into whatever this person wants to have, whatever magical fiat paper money that they want. And hopefully you can find somebody that takes crypto and says, I'll pay in crypto. But that, if I want to go deep into it, that's the whole point of Bitcoin. The white paper said it's peer-to-peer transaction. And it doesn't matter if it's just a Bitcoin to someone who accepts Bitcoin. If I didn't want to do a transaction, to me, I think to myself, because when I, like my Amazon business, like if I have to pay China, when I used to use Chinese manufacturing plants, I don't do anymore, then I have to send over money, right? So I have to transfer US dollars to yuan. The bank is a big pain in the ass. So the same thing with Bitcoin, right? If you say, hey, I want to buy that house, the house is $500,000, or probably. In America, it's like the average price is $450,000. So you say, okay, well, we don't take Bitcoin. Okay, well, I'll exchange it for dollars. It's going to cost me some, and then you just exchange it. And then you buy that asset, and you own the asset and do whatever you want with it. So that's a very long answer for what you think is best for you. But yeah, I wish a lot more places would take stable coins. It makes sense to me. Tayway says, correctly so. Also, probably should have sold some alts when we ran early in the year. I did not. That's okay. A lot of people do the same thing. I did the same thing my first one. I got better on my second run. And this third one, I should do better as well. I won't be perfect because I'll get greedy just like everybody else. Yeah, got to have a plan and stick to it. Luis says, Rob, Ben, Colleen? Oh, Cowan. Maybe Ben. I don't think he'd say that. Seem to think that Bitcoin will not go over 100K next cycle because of diminishing returns. Here's what I'm going to tell you. And I said this yesterday. Price predictions are worthless. And people who are doing it are just doing educated guesses. That's pretty much it. There was an article from 2020 that I tweeted out. And it said, the majority of economists now believe that recession will not hit with quantitative easing. These are economists. And they're like, no, we won't have any kind of inflation because of the massive amount of trillions of dollars that we're printing. So the same thing goes with price predictions. I don't know if it's going to be 100K. I don't know, it's going to be 80K. Maybe we don't even hit the all-time highs. I don't care. What I care about is the indicators I just showed you. And those indicators you can find on the website. And if I take a look at those multiple indicators, I make the best guess. It doesn't matter about a price prediction. If we don't hit 100K, I don't care. I'm pretty sure alts, some will overperform and some will underperform. If I take a look at those and I dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out, I don't have to play this game anymore. It's a huge relief. So just take a look at that. And, you know, hey, 100,000 seems reasonable, but I thought 100,000 was reasonable last time. That didn't happen. You guys trading are degen gamblers. Look, everybody's a little degen. Let's be honest. If you weren't a little bit of degenerate as far as a gambler, you probably wouldn't be here. Just a little. And there's a wide range of degenerates out there. Like Mullet, probably 70% degenerate gambler. Tesla, maybe 2% degenerate. I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with trading. I used to knock on it, but if you want to do it, it's fun. It's like going to the casino. Sometimes you knock it out of the park. Sometimes the bells and whistles start going off when you pull that one-armed bandit. Most times it doesn't. Rob, no offense, Ben was running the elongated cycle. Last run he goes in the box to take everything with a grain of salt. Ben's a nice guy. Yeah, he was wrong on that one, but he always says he's wrong. Look how much, but you know, we're all wrong. And that's the thing. Like, look how many times I've been wrong. I mean, look, I talked about a lot of things that did not work out. I talked a lot about like these different altcoins, talked about Voyager, how it would never go down because it was essentially the hotels.com. And of course, who knew that they were behind the $630 million loan to 3 Arrows Capital? Actually, we did know. There's a link in the description. It's called the Celsius Voyager timeline. And the day that Celsius collapsed, I had just come back from Consensus in Austin, and I put out a video at 9 in the morning, 11 in the morning, probably. And I said, hey, I've heard a lot of different things about Celsius. Probably want to take your money out. It looks pretty bad. I tried, but you can see it's public record how much I actually have there. Still have there. And then with Voyager, 2 weeks before it collapsed, there was a filing because it was a publicly traded company, $630 million 3 Arrows Capital, uncollateralized. And I said, look, this is not happening. I'm going to still use Voyager, but I'm going to use them because I like them it's a cheap centralized exchange, but I'm going to take everything out on my cold storage device. And that was 2 weeks prior, and then 2 weeks it collapsed. So look, we all get things wrong. We try to correct as fast as possible, but this is just it. Don't take anybody with like 100%, like they're perfect. Like I like Ben. And so far he's been right about the altcoins. But I still dollar cost average, so I have a plan. Rob, my chain link is in the gram nursing this color. What do I do? Maybe you take some profits today just to know what it feels like and to walk a little bit taller, especially when you're talking to your family and for Thanksgiving if you're in America. You know, you can say, yeah, I took some profits. It's doing okay. I think I'll do pretty good next year. That's it. Me in Puerto Rico next week, I'm not looking forward to this because with this sciatica, I got to sit for so long in an air. It's going to suck. I'll just load up on meds just to get there. Need a good therapist when I get there, that's for sure. Meme says I was not able to import Keystone to the old Tangent, maybe the new one. Yeah, the new one, that's what they say it is. But just to be sure, contact them, customer support. They're really good on the website. They have like a live chat option just to make sure and say, hey, I got a Keystone. Are you sure I can import it? That's what I would do first. RWA, real world assets other than Chainlink, Rio thoughts, no thoughts on Rio. Again, I don't invest into it, so I don't know about it. I invest in a Chainlink, and I'm not gonna say there can be only one, but again, like some of the younger upstarts that are getting into it, it's hard to really break in, and maybe they'll do well. You know what? Probably do fine. I don't know. I'm just gonna stick with Chainlink because it seems like they're being implemented in a lot of different banks, and like I said, with Swift and so on and so forth. Tay said, I saw a guy doing work on a garden one time. That's an upgrade. love it. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I crushed a disc, but now it's healed. It takes a long time. I'm going to guess over a year. That's what they keep telling me. So we'll see. TANGEM wallet. Yeah, good. Now remember, and I put this in the description, everything's an affiliate link. Let's not get it twisted. You don't have to use that affiliate link, but if you don't get like the 10 or 20 or 30% or whatever else it is. You can go right to the website. So just so everybody knows, they're all affiliate links. But I don't have deals. Well, I have some deals. That's a good deal for TANGEM, 10% off. Is diamond handing Bitcoin for 3 halvings okay? Yes, if you want to do that. It's up to you. Like, I think, and Simon Dixon is a prime example of this. Simon Dixon's been buying Bitcoin, he said, since like $11 or something like that, $8. And his whole goal is to have more Bitcoin every month than what he had before. Now, whether that means he may sell some as it goes down and buy some afterwards, I don't know for sure. But, check out Simon Dixon's channel. This he's been around forever, knows what's happening. And he's invested in some small startups like Kraken and Coinbase and ETHEREUM ICOs and a little stuff. And he's got his company's got his hands in everything, it seems like. So worked out pretty well for him. Oh, yeah. Do you think there will be a Visa card where the tax will be deducted automatically? That's a pain, right? Because that's just it. In different jurisdictions across the world, it is different for how you do it. There's like a threshold. So what you're talking about here is Michelle's saying, okay, look, if you have Bitcoin and you buy it at $10, right? And then it goes to $15, and then you use a Visa that allows you to pay for whatever it is in Bitcoin. I don't know why you do that. It seems like kind of expensive, maybe unless you're using Lightning Network. But at the point that you sell, you have a capital gains tax. Depending on how long you have held it. In America, it's short-term capital gains under a year. After a year, it's long-term capital gains, and that could be, I think it's roughly 21% plus the state that you're in. In Germany, it's totally different. In Germany, after a year, correct me in the comments, Germans, it's 0% for long-term after 1 year. So then now you got to take a look at, okay, well, if it's 10 to 15 and it's less than a year, and my tax bracket, 33%, so I'm going to get taxed 33% for that from the $5. And then the tax on top of whatever the actual thing is and the transaction fee and go from there. That is a nightmare. So if they do it automatically, it's someone smarter than me. That's a long answer for a very simple thing to do, right? XRP is a Trojan horse. Could very well be. My prediction is 2048. I don't know what that is, but okay. Yeah, Ader says, Rob, I remember you selling Theta back in the bull run like $9. So there's a link in the description at the very bottom. It was my old price predictions and my cash out strategies, which was right here. Yeah, this one. And this was just me just thinking, I think this is going to happen. And it didn't. Well, some did. Like I went through Ethereum Chainlink, and I thought this is the price. That's why I say like price predictions are pretty bad. I thought it would go to 150,000. Why is this not? So I had Ethereum Chainlink, Bitcoin. As much fun as I make of EOS, it did pretty good. I mean, the EOS all-time high was 1422. I thought it hit 30, but it hit 14. But of course, my price was 1327, so I missed out. But Theta was the big one. And shout out to Digital Dave for turning me on to Theta. You don't hear about him too much because you know what Dave did? Digital Dave? He took his winnings, his profits from crypto. He lives in Thailand, and he's opening up a pickleball restaurant in Thailand, and it looks beautiful. I can't wait to go there and see him. So that's not a bad life. Trust me. That's a pretty good, sweet life. But anyhow, he's the one that said about Theta, and I thought it would hit $10. This was back when it was like under $1. And these were my price points. And yes, I did sell around the 896 mark, but I didn't hit the last one, the 10. And yeah, I mean, I did pretty good in this one. I did horrible on Cardano. I think I only sold up to 220, not the 260, not the 3, even though I called it right. EOS, I didn't do a good job. Ethereum, I didn't do a good job. Chainlink, I only sold 26 and 28 marks. I missed 30, 32, and I could have sold out, but I didn't. And remember, like all the things that I'm selling, this is just 80% of my total amount. So I'll always have a little on the sidelines in case something goes parabolic, because you never know. So yeah. Maybe I should have looked more at indicators, but whatever. Black Diamond. Any tips to become a whole coiner? Yes. And it was easier back in the day, but really it just comes down to time. And I hate, it's like a simple thing, and people say, well, that sucks. I don't have time. Yeah, I've got time. And when we start to feel like nothing's going to turn around and it's a bear market, that's the best time to accumulate. I remember when the Cerveza virus came out and everybody was like, this is it. Bitcoin's dead because, you know, risk on assets, excuse me. $5,000 was a pretty good, sweet deal. I didn't buy it that day, but later in like the week, I think I got it like 6 or 7. I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. So really the thing I can say, it's like for all things, is that when everything is massively depreciated, is a time to buy. Now, the question is, what is that asset? Just because, and even Warren Buffett talks about this, he says, just because things are massively depreciated doesn't mean it's going to have value as time goes on. Maybe it's just a bad product. So he said people and investors, they'll keep buying up depreciated assets even though they really have no value. And that's why he's anti-Bitcoin, I suppose, because he didn't see the prospect of it. So just be careful. But with Bitcoin, it's the most battle-tested. It's been around. It was the first. And for all the talk about a decoupling or a shift or whatever, where like Ethereum or something else is going to overtake it, still hasn't happened. Matthew says 100K is bearish. It is somewhat bearish, but who knows? I don't really look at the top. I'm just looking at the indicators now. It only took me 5 years to get through my thick head. Maybe I should try that a different way. Ben's analysis is by far the best. Yes, it's pretty good. I listened to most of his videos. Pretty good. Huh. Yeah, Dave's got a good one. Have a plan, DCA in and out, stay away from price predictions like Plan B. That prevented me from taking profits. Well, now you know. I can't put that up. The Shalin says, Ben has not been right all the time. Dominance is not at 60%. Yet. We will see. He's been, I mean, look, I think the Bitcoin dominance has gone from like 40% to over 50. Now maybe it's like 51, 52. It's pretty close. Panda says, Rob, I think psychological factors in investing is very important. Would you agree to say first buy into the market is the worst? No sales, take profit, fear, and greed. I think, I don't know who said it, but it's buy first, research later. Sometimes you just kind of gotta want to get in. And this is what, again, not financial advice, but sometimes I hear about a project, sounds very promising. I'm like, okay, I'll buy a little bit. And it forces me to do the research, because then I'm like, shoot, I got money into it. So I got to research it now and see if I'm going to keep putting money into it. And it kind of works out pretty well. Sometimes I put money into a project and it didn't work out too well, but it's just a small kind of kickstart to go. So I got to tell you that for us, I think for us, everybody here, it's just the psychological part is easy to buy. It's hard to sell, because we always think it's like, we're always saying these phrases. It's going to moon, Lambo, it's going to go up crazy. And you're like, and then you keep thinking that it'll never stop. In bear markets, everything goes down forever. It feels like In a bull market, everything goes up forever. It feels like. It's not really how it is. Never going to moon. Honest guys. Yep. Yeah, that's also true. Memento mori. Just remember that at some point we all will die. Thomas says, Rob, the cure for my bed back is why. No, I walked every day. That's why I'm crushing it on Sweatcoin. Yeah, it's just like, but like my leg goes numb. So it's hard to walk when you can't feel your leg. Is $6.99 the price for 3 tangent cards before or after the 10%? I don't know. I don't know what the prices are now. Because like the first tangent was like, it was $44 for the 2 card. And then it was, I think, $50 for 3. But the 2.0, I don't know how much it is. But remember, it should be 10%. And the code should just be Dan or the link in the description. Thailand is great. I love it there. I'd like to go there. Sounds nice. Tayway, I studied crypto in 2021, didn't buy. It's okay. I studied crypto in 2012. I was like, this is stupid. Now here I am with a channel. Go figure. Gambling mindset. Don't blame others. Very true. You think about Polygon? I think it'll be great. It's going to have a lot of partnerships. That's why I dollar cost average it almost every day. I missed today's show. What do you DCA? I DCA these. Solana, Chainlink, Bitcoin, Matic, Cardano, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Arbitrum, DOT, Algo, Atom, and Near. Now, I still have a lot of other cryptos like XRP and Aave and stuff like that. I just don't actively dollar cost average them. They're in some wallet somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, Ben always talks about it. No. Yeah, like I know it's there. I hang upside down. I do this decompression and these exercises to arch your back to get it in. It's going to take some time. And favorite gaming token. I don't really have a great one. I would like to get access to Illuvium in big time and go from there. No, I don't really have a favorite one. But again, just watch those videos with Classy and Kagi and Stash and Johnny Hustle. They're the ones that really know what's going on. And yeah, that'd be it. Holy smokes, 1 hour and a half. So everybody, it's time to get out of here. It's Sunday. I'm sure there's some football on, probably some beer to be drank. Yeah, that's it for today. So thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate you. If you liked today's video, thumbs up, subscribe on the way out, and that's it. We'll see you guys mañana. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.